Welcome to another V-Couragement from Kingdom Companies. Interesting, these are called V-Couragements, and today we're going to talk about encouragement. In fact, a lot of times we're going to talk about encouragement. I have to tell you a very quick story about how I realized the difference between what we think encouragement is, which is a pat on the back and a nice job done and that kind of a thing, versus what really God's purpose for and the power of encouragement is. Back years ago, I owned a company and got involved with growing it too fast, letting the ego and all of those things build a company that I think God knew that if I built it, I thought I could do ministry for Him. And his point was, well, why do you need $5 million in the bank to do ministry? So he got a hold of my attention by the 1987 recession, which was all for me. And the company was in trouble. And I remember at 3 o'clock in the morning, my wife saying to me, how could you let this happen? I was the most discouraged I've ever been in my life. I remember being in the Charlotte Douglas Airport and saying this simple prayer, God help. And it just didn't seem like there was any help anywhere. But interestingly enough, late at night, about 2 weeks later, I was wondering what I was going to do with the bank who was calling the note, who of course did what banks do. They want all of your assets, including your unborn children. And wondering why I'd let this happen, knowing it was my fault. So I'm not going to say this was just the recession. I should have seen what was going to happen, but my greed and my lack of trust in God allowed me to do this. But here's how gracious God is. As I was thinking about this problem and trying to pray through it, I couldn't pray. My mouth was dry. My Bible, if you'd opened it up, dust would come out of it. And I thought about the scripture when a woman came to Elijah and said, man of God, do something. We're dying here. We're starving. There's a famine in the land. Now, he didn't say, well, what have you done? And he didn't hold her. He just said, have you got any empty jars? Have you got any oil? And she said, just a little bit of oil. And you know the story. He takes those vessels and any vessel she can find, and he says, begin to pour, and she pours. I'm thinking of that scripture. I'm just thinking about it. I'm not reading the Bible. And from the very bottom of my feet to the top of my head, God filled me with His courage and said, this is just another circumstance that I'm going to see you through. It was the most powerful thing. Now here's the other message. He said to me very clearly, if you don't give it away, you will become empty. Are you pouring out your courage and your encouragement to other people today? Or are you so discouraged that you think there's nothing left? If you're listening to this, there's oil in the jar. Pour out, encourage someone else, and you yourself will be encouraged. It isn't some mamby-pamby pat on the back. It's one of the most powerful spiritual principles of life, the power of God's encouragement in our life. And when Jesus was on the cross and He said, it is finished, that should be the greatest encouragement we need to carry on. You can do this. Be strong, be courageous, and be blessed. Have a wonderful day.